1 year sober. That's the headline. But the story behind it? Stick around and find out. This is TOMU, the open mic, Unfiltered. Let's get into it. A year ago, I was done. Literally done. I didn't know what the point of anything was anymore. Getting out of myself was the only way I didn't have to deal with myself. My mind, my shame, my guilt, my worthlessness. Mentally, I'd given up. Emotionally, I was drifting. No control, no understanding, just constant running. The only emotion I really recognised was anger. I hid it well, but inside, it was rage. A deep hatred toward myself. Physically, I didn't care. I'd always hated my body and the way I looked. And behind the curtain, everything was gone. If it wasn't for my parents, my sister, my girlfriend, and my beautiful niece and nephew, I don't think I'd still be here. I didn't want to keep doing this. The same shit, day after day, week after week, pretending I was okay, when I was screaming inside. Keeping up appearances is hard fucking work. Then came that night, the night. I went out, I got so fucked up I can barely remember any of it. I blacked out again. My girlfriend told me I turned up at her place crying, broken, saying I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't want to. I was tired. And when we talked after the next day, or the days after, I realised, yeah, I need help. And not just for me, for everyone I was dragging through the chaos. They didn't deserve it. This was my problem. Only I could fix it. And you know, it wasn't one moment that changed everything. It was an accumulation of all the times I hurt people, all the apologies that meant nothing. But after that night, and during those days after, I realised that it was now or never. And now, 1 year sober. And how does it feel to say that? Pretty fucking good. I never thought I'd do it. It's probably the first real thing I've achieved for myself. It's given me belief again. The drive to keep pushing and to face new challenges. I mean, that's why I wanted to do this episode. Not to preach, but to share. To show it's possible. To remind you that you're not alone. We all fuck up. But you can change direction. You don't have to keep living the same way. If you need help, ask for it. That's okay. Don't shame yourself for needing it. I thought sobriety would be hard and boring. And yeah, it is both sometimes. But I also thought it'd make everything instantly better. And spoiler alert, it doesn't. What it does do is it gives you a chance to meet yourself again. At first, it's lonely. You're probably the best you've ever been. But you don't feel it. You feel lost. But being lost isn't bad. When you're lost, you get to carve a new path. Your circle gets smaller, nights out turn into nights in. You cry, you break down, you question everything. But you also start laughing again, genuinely laughing. You start noticing small things again, and you slow down. Sobriety and healing aren't Instagram highlights. They're real, raw, messy. You will lose yourself. But you will find yourself again. There'll be moments where you want to turn back. Don't. Because that's when change is coming. Things always get worse before they get better. But they do get better. With pain comes growth. With endings come beginnings. You'll cry, doubt, break. But you'll get through it. You'll find your authentic self. And when you do, fuck me, it's so worth it. So let's get into it. Week 1 to 52. What it really looks like to rebuild a life. To be honest, at the start, I didn't feel much. I joined a substance abuse program, and that alone was pretty terrifying. And around the same time, I got diagnosed with ADHD. That helped some things make sense, but it also gave me more to figure out. New medication, new routines, new reality. I felt kind of ready for change, maybe even a bit excited. But like I said, I was also terrified, because I knew I was leaving behind a massive part of my life, for good and for bad. It felt like saying goodbye to a version of myself I'd known forever, even if that version was broken. That was grieving in a way, and realising just how messed up I was, yeah, that hit me pretty fucking hard. What got me through those first cravings was remembering why I was doing it. I'd ask myself, is it worth going back? What good ever came from it? And the bad, it always outweighed the good. I was done hurting people, done hurting myself. And so I thought, what's the worst that can happen if I actually stick this out? I mean, it was already shit. I might as well see if it gets any fucking better. And one of my first real wins, it was pretty soon. It was the Christmas and New Year period. And you know what that time's like. Alcohol everywhere. The old excuse, why not? It's Christmas. But you know what? I made it through. I didn't drink. I stayed sober. And I realised something. I actually had fun. Like proper genuine fun. I remembered the whole night. I woke up fresh. No guilt. No dread. No hangover. Just peace. I wasn't the loudest in the room, but I was present. And that was new. I was scared though. I was scared of failing. Of letting myself down again. I'd never really stuck anything out before. And deep down, I was scared that if I couldn't fix myself, maybe I didn't deserve to be fixed. And there were dark thoughts too. If I can't fix this, then what? And it's hard to talk about, but there were moments I thought maybe everyone would be better off without me. Because either way, they were hurting. If I kept drinking, I'd keep breaking them. And if I was gone, maybe they could just move on. That's where my mind was at. That's how deep it went. Yeah, they would be sad that I would be gone. But maybe they could grieve and move forward without me continuing to burden them with my selfishness at the time. With my actions, I just thought maybe everyone would be better off without me. And that's a horrible place to be. But that's where my mind was at times. I also feared life being boring. What was I going to do for fun? How would I meet people? It felt impossible to imagine never drinking again. But I wasn't doing it alone. My girlfriend, who I would go as far with the cliche of saying is my rock, she never gave up on me, even when she had every reason to. She's had to pick me up more times than I can count. Lily, thank you for seeing in me what I couldn't see in myself. And my family, my parents, my sister, they've always been there too, even when they were exhausted. And again, even when I gave them no reason to stay by me, they never walked away. And that support, it saved me. If you're listening and you're in those first few weeks, I get it. It's brutal. You feel like you've lost your identity, but you haven't. You've just buried it. Keep going. You've only just put the key in the ignition. And now it's time to drive. Weeks 5 to 12 were meant to be when I found my balance, but honestly, I was still a mess. Between the sobriety, the program, and my meds being dialed in, it was chaos. Those first 50 days on Med and F were hell. And if you want, you can go back and check out those episodes previously, and I explain it all there. But I do look back, and I don't know how I made it through without going back to the old ways. Pure stubbornness, probably. I just knew deep down, like, not this time. I'm not giving up. I'm not going back. The first few months were like Bambi on ice. Honestly, I was up and down and fucking crashing around. But I knew it was part of the process. And I started trying everything to build some structure. And honestly, the podcast, it became my therapy. It gave me purpose, something to show up for. Talking about what I was going through helped me, make sense of it. And to be honest, I just started looking after myself a bit more. I was eating better, I was going to bed at the same time, I was waking up earlier, or trying to go to bed at the same time, should I say. I was waking up earlier, and I was just planning my days. I started meditating twice a day, which, by the way, I highly recommend. I thought it was all woo-woo and hocus pocus, but it really has helped me regulate my mind and my thoughts. I cut out caffeine, I cut down nicotine, I started drinking tea, and fucking me and tea. The old me would be looking at me now thinking, what the fuck, bro? But you know what? For me, it works. Rock and roll, right? Chamomile and magnesium before bed. And I'll be honest, it's a triple blend chamomile and magnesium before bed. Who the fuck am I, eh? The social stuff was tricky though. I've always been fine around people I know. It's the unknown that gets me. I've had a few rough experiences when I was out, and it's left a mark, always that edge of anxiety. But back then I used to think, if I'm drunk enough, I won't feel it if I get a kick in. Instead of, if I stay sober enough, maybe I'll be able to protect myself this time. I just find it's mad how the brain works. So at the start, I avoided new places. I didn't want the pressure. But over time, I got more comfortable. Now I can walk in, be aware, be present, and make good choices. And when people ask me why I don't drink, honestly, I don't owe them an answer. I just find it mental that sobriety is the one choice people actually question. I mean, no one asks, why aren't you in the toilet snorting coke tonight? But you skip a pint and suddenly you're the fucking weird one. And if I do explain it, I just say, well, me and alcohol don't get on. I'm better without it. And sometimes I flip it. Why are you drinking tonight? And the answers, they can tell you a lot. Having the right people around me made a massive difference too. Big shout out to Coco UC here in Copenhagen, my program, my therapist, psychiatrist, the nurse, all incredible. Anytime I needed them, they were there. My therapist especially, absolute legend. He's helped me untangle my mind and see my thoughts for what they were. People talk about this thing called the pink cloud, that early sobriety high, and I can't say I've ever had it. Maybe because I've never thought of this as something I've beaten. I mean, I'm still a work in progress, and maybe I always will be. But I've learned something important. I don't have an addictive personality. I have an addictive mind. And a mind can change. It can learn, unlearn, rewire. The same drive that once craved chaos can be turned toward growth, creativity, and purpose. And that's what I'm trying to do now. And what I've learned from getting some distance from alcohol is pretty simple. It's fucking everywhere. But I don't need it. It doesn't serve me. I used to think I was having fun drunk. And the truth is, the alcohol was having fun. Through me. At my expense. It borrowed joy that I hadn't earned. Now, I know I can achieve things. I can set goals and follow through. And the biggest thing, I believe in myself again. I'm resilient. The foundation didn't come easy, but it's being built brick by brick. And that's what matters. And I think that's where we'll pause this one. The first few months, the chaos, the rebuilding. It wasn't clean or calm, but it was real. And looking back now, I think that's what matters most. I showed up. Even when I didn't feel strong, I showed up anyway. Those early weeks were about survival, learning how to exist again without the crutch, without the escape. It was uncomfortable as fuck, but necessary. Because before you can build anything new, you've got to clear out the wreckage. And if you're at that stage right now, keep going. You might not see it yet, but every day you stay sober, you're laying a brick. You're rebuilding something solid underneath you. And as always, remember, be good to yourself. In part 2, I'll talk about what comes next when the dust settles and you start facing yourself. The emotions, the relationships, the real deep work, and what it actually feels like to live sober, not just survive it. If this episode connected with you, or you're on your own recovery path, you're not alone. You're doing something brave, something that takes guts most people will never understand. So give yourself credit. And if you think this might help someone, please share it. We lose too many good people to addiction and mental health struggles. Let's help stop that. And I'll see you in part 2, where we dig into the deep work, the reflection, and the next steps of this 52-week sober journey. And it would be huge if you could follow and give the show a rating. It means the world and helps us reach more people. And if you want to help keep it going, you can buy me a coffee. The link's in the description. Thanks for listening. See you next week, you beautiful people.